Hey, welcome back to Road Tripping with Rachel. I'm Rachel. Thank you so much for joining me here on this road trip. I love to take people on road trips through the Bible, through life, and even getting out on the road from time to time. So this week we're coming up on Thanksgiving, and we're in between having finished up a Bible study that I did going through the Gospel of John, and we are now coming up on a new series that I am going to be doing for Advent season. I'm super excited about it. I'm also going to be releasing blog posts about all of them. So if you want to read along instead of watching all the videos, you can also keep up with everything that is happening by going to www.roadtrippingwithrachel.com, and that is where you will find my blog as well. So for today, like I said, we're in between stuff that's happening, and I needed something to fill for this week. So I like letting you guys kind of get to know a little bit about me from time to time, just about who I am in general, how I'm quirky. I would say my taste in a lot of things really spans the whole spectrum. Other things, like sometimes I do like to surprise people a little bit with some of the things that I like and things that I enjoy. So I thought this would be a great opportunity to kind of share a lot about the different podcasts that I really like and enjoy. So yes, I really enjoy podcasts. I really got into them whenever I was working in college admissions. So I wanted to take the opportunity just to share some of the podcasts that I really enjoy listening to. Some of them are going to be very biblically based, as far as I listen to them because it helps just feed me spiritually. Some of them, and educationally. Some of them are just because they're things that I'm interested in, and then some of them are going to be things that I think are important that we think about, and how what the implications of certain things that we're doing or teaching actually are. We're going to get into some of these podcasts that I enjoy. I want to make sure I state I am not sponsored by any of these. They're genuinely just podcasts that I have found over the years that I just enjoy listening to on a regular basis. So let's go ahead and we're going to get started with just some of the topics that are more I like to listen to because they're more educational. And that is Help Me Teach the Bible by Nancy Guthrie. So this one, she goes through and she interviews all these different Bible teachers from around the world, both here in the US, Europe, and primarily Australia, although I do believe she does pick up a couple from some other countries as well. But she goes through each of the books of the Bible, book by book. Sometimes they're split into multiple podcasts. They're normally right around an hour or longer. They're really good if you just want an overview. The other one that I really enjoy listening to is Discipleship-Making In Community with Ken Braddy. Now, I enjoy this one mainly because if you know my background, I have mentioned it before. I did attend seminary. I have a Master's of Divinity in Christian Education, and Ken was actually one of my field coordinators. So I really like Ken. He's a great guy. If you ever get the opportunity to meet him or sit through any of his training that he does at churches for small groups and for Sunday schools, you should really take him up on that offer if your church hasn't done that. He is very good at training and communicating that you really want to be able to set up your small group leaders and your Sunday school teachers for success whenever they are going into a Sunday school or a small group environment where they are going to be leading or facilitating. It helps them feel empowered, like they have the ability to actually teach what it is that they are being asked to teach. And it gives a lot of helps on how you would actually be able to do that. Ken has also written several books, as has actually Nancy Guthrie from previously, but he's written several books on Sunday school, and he's a great resource. He also does have a website that's out there as well. So Ken, if you ever find this, just know I speak very highly of you. So another one that I really enjoy is Ask NT Wright Anything. So asking NT Wright Anything, one, I love NT Wright. He's great. I enjoy his books. His books are always, in my opinion, they're very dense. Sometimes they're really long, but sometimes they're very short, but they're always very dense, meaning for me, what I'm talking about is that I have to stop and really think whenever I am reading one of his books. And Ask NT Wright Anything is where like he takes questions. Sometimes they're general questions, sometimes they're just questions at large or ones that people have sent him, and he answers these questions, and he always takes us back to scripture. But I really enjoy listening to him. Plus, I mean, everything sounds better when they're British. Let's just put it out there. Everything sounds better whenever they're British. I also want to get into some of the topics that are just like, hey, we should really like think. I like podcasts and books that make me think. Ever since I have completed my schooling, like the need to think critically isn't quite as much there anymore. So I enjoy being pushed to think critically about either what is being presented to me or to listen and explore how what is being said actually does affect my life and the life of those around me. So one of the ones, I actually discovered them while I was in seminary. I found them on YouTube, found out they had a podcast. It's Socrates in the City. They pull people from all different backgrounds. Vast majority of them are going to be people who claim some form of Christianity, either like Orthodox, Catholic, Protestant, and then various forms of Protestantism within it. Very much, if you love C.S. Lewis, you will really enjoy this. If you like Os Guinness, N.T. Wright, you enjoy like talking about science and history and philosophy and talking about like apologetics. This is a great one to listen to because sometimes they do bring people on who are you might not necessarily agree with as far as like some of their beliefs as well, even though they all will fall within the realm of Christianity. You might not agree theologically with all of them, but they come from various different disciplines. And the whole concept that surrounds it is that people need to be able to think. And I think, therefore I am. That whole concept that we should be critical thinkers in our society and not just accept everything that is being fed to us. So that is Socrates in the City. The host is Eric Metaxas. Okay, another one that I really enjoy. Now, this is a bit of a weird one considering I'm single, but it's called the Bare Marriage Podcast. So that is hosted by Sheila Ray Gregoire and her daughter Rebecca Lindenbach. And they talk about sex, marriage, and they use both the Bible and they use research as they are having these discussions. They have become very well known for talking about mental load, for talking about the intricacies of relationships and about being equals in a relationship. So they are egalitarian. If you are more on the complementarian side, you might not agree with everything that they say. However, they are most definitely worth like hearing and listening to. And I'll just be honest, they also will do critiques of things that are happening currently in the news worldwide. They have a lot of people who are on as guests who have written other books or done movies. They've had Beth Allison Barr has been on. She's written a couple books. I can't remember if they've ever had Amy Bird on, but they have also had people from like around the world here in the US. So, and just to be perfectly, I'm just a few years older than her daughter. I am 100% there. Also because I just love the commentary that Rebecca gives. I love her commentary. She's hilarious, to be perfect. Like, she would have a real career as a stand-up comedian if she ever chose to go that way. But really great to listen to. If for nothing else, then it gets you thinking and it's forcing you to have the conversation. She's best known right now, I would say, for her book, The Great Sex Rescue, which is highly research-based, and I understand they've recently been peer-reviewed, so congratulations, Sheila and Rebecca. And they have a third author, which her name escapes me at the moment, but congratulations to you on becoming peer-reviewed. That is a very big deal in academia. But they're great. I've read The Great Sex Rescue. They've also had a few other books that have been released as well, although I have not read them. They are on my list. So those are some like cultural ones that I've really been a fan of. And then here I just have like two other ones that I enjoy listening to just because like I'm interested in the topic. So one of them is Simple Farmhouse Life, which is with Lisa Bass. She is the personality that is on Farmhouse on Boone, which is on YouTube. It's been there for several years. She also has a website by the same name. She is very well known for sourdough. And I believe she's recently released a cookbook. So congratulations, Lisa, on that. I came across her actually a while ago. Wasn't super interested at the time. But then came across her again whenever I started working with sourdough, which I've said before on my channel that I did not need to discover sourdough during COVID because I already knew how to bake. It was actually much later that I actually started to get into sourdough and was learning how to use it. So I have been a great fan of hers. With the Farmhouse on Boone channel, but then Simple Farmhouse Life is really her bringing other people into the conversation. Now they talk about like homeschooling, being a parent, running a business, and then also just like a bunch of other topics about more or less just being a homemaker, which are things that I am interested in. Because if you watched one of my videos, probably one of the ones that has done the best has been about how I believe you can still be single and be a homemaker, because you make your house comfortable. And a lot of the things that I have incorporated into my homemaking has actually come from listening to that podcast. The final one that I really enjoy listening to is Ancestral Eating. So I also did a whole video on Ancestral Eating. There are two hosts on here, one who is actually located in the UK, the other who is located out in Washington State, USA, and they do ancestral eating. So that means they are eating seasonally. They are eating basically the way our ancestors would have ate, having very little to no processed food, preserving, canning, dehydrating, like all of those different things, as well as really being advocates for purchasing from local farms and eating locally and being sustainable. A lot of those are, I have actually incorporated some of those recipes. If you remember when I did my video on ancestral eating, there were a lot of things that I really liked and agreed with. I felt so good like going a month eating that diet. Now there are some things where I'm just like, my particular lifestyle doesn't necessarily like allow everything to be incorporated in it, but I do things like water kefir. I do the sourdough bread. I try to shop as locally as I can. A lot of the things that I've really picked up on have come through their podcast, and it's just really great to kind of hear their banter and hear from different individuals who are like experts within their very like niche fields. So definitely worth giving a listen to whenever you get the opportunity. Now, these are just some of the ones that I personally really enjoy. You don't have to go and listen to any of them if you don't want to. I'll try and make sure I list all of them off in the description, so that way y'all will have them in case you want to go and check any of them out. But I hope that you enjoyed kind of getting a peek into some of the things that I enjoy listening to, and maybe you'll go and check them out as well. And just as a reminder, like, I am not sponsored by any of them. I just genuinely enjoy listening to them. So I hope to see you all next time, which December 1st is when my first video is going to go up. I'm going to be posting videos every day through Christmas. That is the goal. Then take that final week off before hopping into another book of the Bible study that will start on, I believe it's January 1st. So I am really looking forward to this and hope to see you guys all very soon. So bye.